It's an island culture, so your friends are your neighbors and your neighbors are your friends. And there is a sense that we're going to trust each other, and we have to get along. There are wonderful things about that, but the flip side is that it makes you vulnerable.
And because of that, in the island culture, there was no need to question and no need to research. And they would say, why would I? He told me, I met him, I trusted him, so I gave him my money. And these were not unsophisticated people.
According to the state, Joseph Sullivan fraudulently solicited more than $8 million from investors in Hawaii and on the mainland.
He used a lot of different things to give himself legitimacy. He said he was part of the Kennedy administration as an investigator. He said that he was part of the Sullivan family that owns the New England Patriots, and that he was here to open an NFL franchise. It boggles the mind because he actually was a felon from Boston. And then he goes to California and gets a fake ID and comes to Hawaii and just starts it all over again. Sullivan got into the Rotary Club, and he had a lot of his Rotary friends convinced that he was a very upstanding individual, helping them to make money and helping them to put money in a Swiss bank.
It's safe, it's guaranteed. At 1 year, it's a lower interest rate, 8%. If you keep it in for 2 years, it's 10%. At 3 years, it's 12%. And it's guaranteed. Because again, these are CDs.
In this case, they were certificates of deposit, really, out of a fake bank, Swiss National Bank.
An investor called, and he called to ask us whether or not this investment certificate he purchased was legitimate. The company or the corporation wasn't registered with us, nor was the person he received it or purchased it from. So we started an investigation.
He used an alias in order to sign the certificates of deposit and in order to convince people who were buying it that it wasn't him that was signing everything, that there were other people, more official people involved.
If you had just done a little bit of research and gone to that address to see this international Swiss group investment corporation, you would have found what we found. It's a mailbox drop. When we filed our cease and desist order against Joe Sullivan, we actually charged him with violations of registration statutes. He was an unregistered salesperson. He sold unregistered securities, and he committed fraud.
When that cease and desist order came out, it really publicized what was going on with the scheme. Future investors did not want to invest, and we had a lot of people who wanted to redeem. And when you don't have future investors, and you have a lot of redemptions, the Ponzi collapses.
The Swiss group stole more than $8 million from 1997 until 2006, when the Hawaii Securities Enforcement Branch broke up the Ponzi scheme.
We can do investigations, and we can take action. But that takes a long time, and by the time something happens, your money's already gone. So preventative action is so critical. Check before you buy. Make sure you know what the investment actually does and how it works. These simple steps, anyone can follow, and it could save a lot of people a lot of pain.